exaggeration on this hand. Hey guys, it's Alex Torelli. Welcome back to the hand of the day. Today's question comes from one of my subscribers, Gavin. Tells me that after this hand of poker, it was so extreme that he quit playing live poker for a month. So let's see what brought him to ruin here. The blinds are 2-3. Gavin has $325, and he's under the gun player limps for $3. It gets folded around to Gavin on the button. He makes it $15 with ace queen, and the small blind, the big blind, and under the gun call. So we're 4 ways to the flop.
To the flop.
Pot is $60. Flop comes ace, 4-3, rainbow. Small blind checks, big blind checks, and under the gun bets out $50. Gavin goes ahead and makes it $150. And he's asking me about his raising on the flop, whether or not it's a good play. And he goes on to tell me that he raised on the flop because he wanted to signify strength. He wanted to let the under the gun player know that he had a big hand. He had been playing solid all night, he was winning, and he wanted to take the pot down right there. Now this is a huge mistake and a huge common logic sequence that I hear from amateur players and students of mine all the time. By signifying strength here on the flop, they try to sort of almost signal to their opponent, almost in a nice way, through their bet sizing, that they actually have a big hand, and they want to win the pot right there, and so they're hoping their opponent will fold. Now this is wrong for several reasons. Number one is, what happens when your opponent has you beat? Now you raise to 150 and your opponent goes all in, you've inflated the pot so much and you're pretty much forced to call off your remaining $150 because the pot's so big and it's pretty hard to fold. You've almost priced yourself in. And it's really important to know why you're raising. You need to be raising for the right reasons, and in order to do that, you need to be raising against the correct type of opponents. If your opponent is going to correctly play against you and only call with better hands, it's a terrible raise here. You have to have a really strong reason for raising, otherwise your default should be calling. The last reason not to raise is the other two players in the pot. People don't often consider this, but I want to make a quick point to note it. If you raise to 150, and now the small blind or the big blind wake up with a hand and go all in, you're still pretty committed to the pot. The pot is huge, and you only have $150 remaining. The pot's going to be big, and you're going to be forced to call, but they're going to be much more likely to have you beat in this spot. So let's go on to the turn. Your opponent flat calls your $100 bet, and you have $160 behind. The turn comes a 2, making the board really scary. Ace 4-3-2 now on the board. Your opponent checks the turn and you quickly go all in, again wanting to tell him that you have a big hand and just take down the pot right here. I think this is another pretty big mistake that you made on your part, and I'm sorry to be really rough on you, but it's important that I give you the right advice so you can use this to understand your logic, where you went wrong, and ultimately improve your decision-making process. So you have to ask yourself, what types of hands can my opponent have? Now let's re-go through the hand. He limped under the gun, which means he probably has a strong hand, at least something that is playable. And he also called a raise pre-flop. He bet out on the flop, which means he flopped something with some equity. He's not going to bet out on the flop here into 3 other players with, let's say, Jack-10 suited. Absolutely no equity. I think for a player to bet out here, especially the size of his bet, he's got to have something, meaning he connected with the board in some way. He also called your raise on the flop when he knows you have a very small amount of money left, which means he does have something. He can't call here with nothing. So the types of hands he has are 1-pair hands that are worse than yours, like ace 6 through ace jack. Remember, ace 5 and ace 2 now have completed to a hand that's better than yours. He could also have draws, like 5-6, 4-5, or pocket 5s, maybe even pocket 2s if he's really, really loose. Again, all those hands now beat yours. He could have also flopped a hand that's better than yours. Ace 3, ace 4, 4-3, a set of 3s, or a set of 4s. Again, those hands still beat your hand. So the only hands that you beat are a very, very narrow range. Ace 6 through ace jack, specifically those hands. By betting here, you have to ask yourself, what hands is he going to call me with? Not only is his hand more likely to be better than your hand, which is a strong reason for checking because his range is practically stronger than yours at this point. Again, ace 6 through ace jack are the only hands you beat, but remember, he limped under the gun. Those hands are probably suited, which means there's very a very smaller amount of possibilities of those specific hands. And again, something to keep in mind. So not only is his hand more likely to be better than your hand, but in order to justify betting profitably here, he has to call you with a worse hand. So not only is it unlikely he has this very small range of hands, ace-6 through ace-jack, given how he played the hand on the flop, but it's very unlikely he's going to say check call all in on the turn with ace-7. He's probably going to check fold that hand because he beats absolutely nothing. But when he has a better hand than yours, he's always going to check call you. He's going to check call with any straight, of course, or any two pair or any set. So you really don't gain any value by betting here. It's a complete lighting on fire of $160 because you never get called with a worse hand, and you always get called when he has a better hand. The only way I would consider putting more money in the pot is if your opponent is an absolute maniac and he's a very truly special caliber of player that is a non-believer, and you feel like you could extract value by betting the river if he were to check the turn. But checking behind the turn is clearly the best play. What ends up happening is your opponent checks, you bet all in on the turn, and your opponent calls you with ace-2. Now it's very easy to think here that, oh my gosh, I got so unlucky, I'm going to quit poker for a month. If the turn was only a 9, I would have won a big pot. That's true, and maybe that's true, but it doesn't change the fact that you can't control the cards that you're dealt. You can only control how you play the hand, and my friend, you played this one incorrectly. So it's important to focus not on the results here, but on the actual decision-making process itself and how you could do the best given the situation you're in. The turn was a brutal card for you, but that didn't mean that you cannot play that card the best way possible. You could have saved yourself $160 here, my friend, and bought yourself a pair of sunglasses or taken your girl out to dinner. I don't know. You could have done a lot with that.
Nobody knows what I've seen. Nobody knows where I've been. Nobody cares where I've been. Nobody cares for me.
Also, I'm really concerned about one of the comments you said. You said you gave up poker for a month. You haven't been back to the casino because you lost this hand. My friend, let me just be honest with you. If you are going to let a small setback like losing one buy-in or making one mistake or taking one bad beat, whatever it is that's causing you pain, set you back and take you away from poker for a month to get your head straight, then I gotta be honest with you, this game is not for you. There are gonna be a ton of setbacks and there's gonna be a ton of challenges, and it's not the challenges you face or the times you get knocked down in this game, but it's really the times you get back up. So if you don't have the mental strength to just put it aside, sleep it off, go to the gym, hit a good workout, and get back in the game tomorrow, then you should just quit right now. This is definitely going to happen multiple times, and you are going to make bigger mistakes in bigger pots for more money and have more sleepless nights. It's all like this, and this is what it takes. This is the pain that you need to incur in order to force yourself to improve and succeed at the game.
Nothing comes from hate and violence. Alright.
So take it from me, trust me, my friend, I've been there before. I felt like, I'm never going to play well again, and I'm never going to get lucky again, or I'm always so unlucky, bad things happen, whatever. I've told myself all the same stories. It's not about how many times you tell yourself that, how many times that happens to you. It's about how many times you get back up afterwards. So Gavin, get your butt back to the poker table, get your head on straight, and be a winner next time.
Up and down, up and down, up and down.
All right, my friend, thanks for watching. That's it for the hand of the day. If you want to send your hands to me, you want me to review your hands on this channel, please go to alectorelli.com, subscribe to my blog, respond to the email. Please leave your questions in email form on my blog by subscribing to my blog and responding to the email. Don't leave them on YouTube because I get so many comments and whatever, I get the hands lost, and it's easier to keep them all in one place. But I will make you guys videos, the best hands I will select and make them right here on this channel, and I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Cheers.